It's Data Privacy Awareness Month. I know a lot of my friends and colleagues don't take this very seriously. I'm wondering if it's still a relevant topic today to talk about.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why do you have curtains on your windows? I mean, you're probably saying to yourself, where's this guy going? Well, that's such a silly question, right? But why do you have curtains on your windows? I mean, it's quite simple. Privacy. All of us, no matter who we are, even if we quote unquote don't have anything to hide, want some amount of privacy. Am I right? Well, the same holds true for the cyber world. Now, there are so many devices out nowadays that are collecting our private data. We've got smart watches, we've got smartphones, we've got computers, and we're using apps, we're visiting websites, and all of those things are collecting data on us, right? So you tie that all together with social media, and we're putting where we are, what we're doing, what we're interested in, and then you have all these data points that allow the bad guys to correlate with one another. And to make it even worse, you've got big corporations that are making billions of dollars doing this. So is it relevant? I'd say it's relevant.
So you're saying it's important, but you're also saying there's so many data points collecting from us and it seems near impossible. What's the point of even trying?
Even if you stopped using the internet today, you couldn't stop information about you from being stored. But everybody can do things so that they can manage how their information is shared.
So my friends and colleagues tell me all the time, there's a lot of effort to data privacy. They really have nothing to hide. Why should they even worry about it?
If I had $1 for every time I heard that argument, I don't know that I'd be shooting this video right now. But listen, privacy is not about hiding. It's about your safety and your family's security. It's about protecting you from the bad guys. So the more data out there, the more we populate where we are, what we do, the more that these devices collect information about us, the easier we make it for the bad guys to con us. So look, if this wasn't a big deal, why is every government in every country at every level pushing through legislation to make the companies that collect our data protected even better? So when you talk to your friends and your colleagues about the effort, because they have nothing to hide, what you need to share with them is that they're really exposing themselves to vulnerabilities and dangers. So look, every day we do things that should be kept private. Like, for example, where do you bank? What your banking routines are. If the bad guys find out where you bank, they could whip up a phishing email, which is, I'll explain to you what that is in a second, but a phishing email that looks like it's from your bank with the bank's logo, and heck, you probably were there last week. So why are they emailing you? Maybe they have a question about your deposit. I don't know about you, I can give it time. So I get an email that looks legit and I click on it and boom, since it's phishing, it downloads malware on my computer. Game over. Didn't even know it happens. Nothing changes on my computer. They are now uploading all my data and even my pictures. And I don't know about you, but we all have goofy pictures which aren't bad, but we just don't want them all over the internet. So it invades our privacy. So what we really are hoping is that with the privacy week that we're in, is that we can get people's viewpoints to change and get them to fight for wanting to take back control over their privacy. I got one last analogy for you. Doors and windows on your house. Do you lock them at night?
Of course.
Why?
I don't want anyone coming in.
Right. You don't want any bad guys coming in, right? Well, that is your data privacy. We need to lock the doors and protect ourselves from the bad guys.
So let's say I wanted to start taking control of my data today. Are there any easy steps I might be able to take?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of things that people can do. Some are more technical than others, but there are some very easy things that everybody can and should do. Here's an example. Password managers, have you heard of these tools before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's good free ones. There's great inexpensive ones. I'm like $40 or $50 a year. And so you're aware of this technology, maybe you even use it, but if everybody used a password manager, they will create complex, long passwords that you don't ever have to remember. If you create a complex password for every different site or app that you use, you make it difficult for the criminals. Now, do you know why? Can you give me an example, maybe?
Best I could think of is if they were able to get to one of my accounts, I'm using the same thing for another, then I might be able to get to more important sites. Maybe my banking.
Right. Let's stop with the financial one. But if they got into your bank, cleared you out, the banks aren't responsible. You're responsible for your own logon credentials. You have to keep them secure. So another one is by selecting a browser that has built-in security and privacy, right? A lot of the mainstream ones that are common might have those features, but they're switched off. And you have to go through and figure out where they are and figure out how to turn them on. So one that I use is Firefox, and you just download it and you start using it. And so they have anti-trackers built into them. So, if you are shopping for something, have you ever been shopping for something? Let's say you're looking for a new backpack, right? And it was just some fleeting thought you had, and then what happens for days?
Getting emails, pop-ups, everything. Trying to sell me that backpack.
Exactly. That's our privacy being taken advantage of and monetized, right? And let's see, another one would be the search engines that we use, right? So search engines are extremely well monetized, right? So we just talked about what you just said. You're searching for a backpack. Well, if you switched the search engine you use, one that I use, it's got a funny name called DuckDuckGo. But what they do is they keep my searching invisible, so they don't share it. So I don't get all of those emails and following me advertisements and things like that. So does that seem like those would be easy steps that people
Absolutely.
listen, your digital identity is probably in today's world, is the most important thing that we need to protect. And without good data privacy hygiene, you're not protecting it. So the easier we make it for them to know who we are, the easier we make it for the bad guys to steal our identity. And that's a disaster. This is something they have to practice on a daily basis. This isn't like one and done. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right.